So the today theme is webinar on RPA adoption trends and use cases. So we will see what kind of adoption trends exist in the industry as well as robotics process automation is concerned, and how to get the business case built up for this. I'll share a typical business case with you, what kind of savings RPA fetching to the industry. So I'm moving to the first slide, which says how the RPA has evolved so far. So if you see this particular slide, RPA has started since a couple of years back, and then at that time it was RPA 1.0, and then from RPA 1.0 to it's maturing or going towards RPA 2.0. RPA 2.0, and from RPA 2.0 to RPA 3.0, and then it's from RPA 3.0 to RPA 4.0. So if you see each stage, it's maturing with certain capabilities. When it started with RPA 1.0, then it was like basically an assisted basic kind of a piece of automation software with the feature of improving some productivity and partial automation at a desktop level. So that was the days when RPA 1.0 was evolved. It was like a desktop version, mostly the desktop version. And then when you see RPA 2.0, it has migrated from assisted to unassisted. So that means there is a capability built in the software platform itself. There are a lot of automation, the automatic intelligence coming in to the software. So it's end-to-end automation and the manual control management, managing screens and systems deployed on servers. So 2.0 onwards, it started deploying on servers. Now in RPA 3.0, these are the autonomous end-to-end automation for virtual workforce. Capability to process unstructured data deployed on cloud and SaaS environment. So until in RPA 2.0, we were not talking about the unstructured data. We were only talking about the structured data. And RPA 3.0, the biggest capabilities were, moving, integrating with the unstructured data, because you might be knowing most of the data are the unstructured in the environment. It's like 70% of data, what's there inside enterprises are into unstructured format. So when the integration of unstructured data happening with the RPA agents, there's the time when we start thinking about the cognitive and intelligent bots, intelligence agents. So when we talk about RPA 4.0, it's all about cognitive intelligence. It's about the virtual workflows. It's about the judgmental task. Until unless we were only doing automating with a little bit of intelligence. In 4.0, the bots and the virtual agents are going to actually not only automate certain typical and repetitive tasks, but they are also going to take judgment in behalf of you. So earlier, the human operators were taking the judgment. Now these bots and virtual agents will be taking the judgments. So in 4.0 model, the bots and virtual agents will start working on their own self-scripting machine learning models. So that means the agents and bots, they will learn on themselves what to do under certain circumstances. So given this fact, the 4.0 is still a bit far from implementation, we are at present, we are still migrating from 2.0 to 3.0. So 4.0 is still in nascent stage, and transition to 3.0 to then further 4.0 requires deep verticalization. So that means if you are graduating from 2.0 to 3.0 and 4.0, then you need to have a lot of domain or industry specific capabilities built up into your robots or boards. So we are expecting that by 2020, a lot of adoption will happen in the RPA 4.0. At present, a lot of trial or a lot of the kind of testing models are going on. A lot of hypothetical cases are prepared. So they are now moving from pilot to the commercial stage as far as 3.0 is concerned. But going forward, a lot of mainstream adoption will happen in 3.0, and then mainstream adoption will also start happening in 4.0. So let me go to the next slide. So what are the adoption trends? So there is these adoption trends are actually coupled with couple of predictions. A prediction I'm sharing with you: 25 to 50% of the cost cutting in outsourced process can be done through RPA. So you can understand this trend. So there's a tremendous opportunity of cost cutting. RPA deployment opportunities in area like expense validation, accounting processes, financial reconciliation, financial reporting, invoicing, payrolls, pensions, and contact centers. That is your customer interface. So if you have outsourced your processes, because most of the opportunity exists in the back offices, and nowadays most of the back offices operations are outsourced. So your BPOs are having highest potential to adopt to RPA or virtual agents kind of technology. So our guidance is collaborate with your outsourcing partner to identify RPA deployment areas and to reap the benefits of cost cutting. So if you are working in a company where your processes, most of the back offices processes are outsourced to your BPO partner, please work in collaboration with your BPO partner to identify the areas and processes where RPA can be built up, and those cost-cutting benefits can be shared between your company as per your partner company, because your company should also reap the benefit of RPA adoption, and your partner should also reap the benefit because they are putting the investment into automating your processes. Next prediction is by 2025, around 40% to 50% of BPA software adoption shall be done for the RPA. So that means the more and more adoption will happen in the BPA in the RPA space. So the BPA, the plain vanilla adoption of BPA will shift towards BPM plus RPM adoption. So large disruptions for traditional process automation with manual data entry by equation of BPM plus RPM, that is market for end-to-end automation. So that means earlier we were automating certain processes, then we were leaving the scope for data entry operators. Now those data entry operators and manual data entry points are going to be plugged by the RPA softwares, or you can say virtual agents, or you can say bots. So if you have launched the BPA implementation, please consider it with the RPA. You can also go only for RPA. However, BPA plus RPA gives best result. So RPA can be also implemented in an isolation manner, but the thing is, until unless your entire processes are automated, until unless your entire processes are fine-tuned or optimized, it may not fetch you the best result. So my suggestion is always go with the BPA plus RPA adoption. The future of RPA technology market growth is in high level of intelligence in boards and agents. So enterprises to push automation and intelligence to every corner of processes. Mega intelligent boards are disrupting legacy apps. So board forms you can think for installing into your key processes. So our guidance is collaborate with your business users team to check out what kind of intelligence levels they are needing to improve transactional performance. So when you are building more and more intelligence into your boards and agents, you need to actually collaborate your business users to find out what kind of business improvement they will be needing, or business intelligence they will be needing. So accordingly, design your machine learning models and the boards model. Next prediction is deep verticalization capabilities are going to be major component for competitiveness to RPA offering. Next wave of RPA adoption is going to be around domain knowledge of. Boards are in great demand in BFSI, manufacturing, retail, healthcare, and also to some extent travel and tourism industry. So deploy portfolios of boards for processes specific where transactional demands are very high, like credit rating, fraud detection, invoice preparation, claim processing, reconciliation, then compliances, month-end and closing reporting. So these are some of the processes where the RPA can do a good job. The rapidly evolving pricing models. So pricing models are rapidly evolving. So when you are going for RPA adoption, you should also leverage this innovation in the pricing model. By 2025, around 70% of RPA contracts shall be on outcome-based pricing. So now if you are negotiating with your vendors on the type of pricing, you should always go for the outcome-based pricing. So this pricing could be on the virtual resource agent based pricing, or to the boards uses based pricing, to the task completion based pricing. So you can explore the various options available with you. Adopt the outcome based pricing structure which is most suitable for your enterprise user need. And the deployment of RPA software in SMB is expected to increase by 40% of the market. So SMBs are going to be the 40% of the market share of the RPA adoption. So if you are actually working for the SMB industry, so you should be aware that SMBs are going to leverage one of the most benefits of the RPA automation. These are like productivity and the cost cutting. So an SMB under SMBs are under tremendous pressure to cut their cost to improve their productivity. So leaders for SMB sector should not be left behind the RPA adoption. So SMB should not think that RPA adoption is only for the bigger companies. So BFI sector expected to be fastest adopter of RPA. It's growing at a CAGR of 65%. So constant change in technology landscape has caused the banking industry to drive full throttle into digital age through an adoption of RPA and artificial intelligence. So there exists widespread opportunity for RPA adoption in BFSI for transactional monitoring, validation, reconciliation, reporting, compliance, data integration, and governance. So if you are into BFSI sector, so a lot of processes need to be migrated or integrated through RPA mechanisms. Some of the processes where the RPA can be adopted are transaction monitoring, validation, reconciliation, reporting, compliances, data integration, and governance. So next slide, if you see, what are the drivers for the RPA solution adoption? So if you see, the drivers are biggest drivers are cost saving and higher ROI through investment in the software, intelligence software platforms like RPA. Agility, scalability, low cost ramp up, ramp up as well as ramp down of demands. So that's the biggest advantage. So now, instead of human resource, you are actually deploying your bots and virtual agents to serve your business needs. So as far the demand goes up, you have the highest possibility to instant deployment of your virtual agents and bots. So that means your scalability and your agility and your availability will go up if you actually started deploying RPA agents into your processes. And it's low cost ramp up and ramp down. If you say you need to ramp down the process because demand has gone down due to seasonality, then you have to simply shut down some of your bots. You don't need to hire any human being, or you have to retrench the human being to meet to your the peak demands or the lean demands. So elimination of rework and error. The moment you're putting the bots and virtual agents into work, a lot of reworks and errors in your processes are going to be eliminated or going to be reduced. So that is one of the key advantage of RPA into your process. Higher productivity, no downtime. So of course, I said earlier that productivity, one of the advantage of adopting the RPA is like improving the productivity. And there is nothing like physical layer. There's nothing like human aspects where somebody gets unveiled, or somebody is having some personal emergency not to come to the work. So there is nothing like downtime in the RPA world. So similarly, 24/7 operation are possible in the RPA environment, and availability of virtual resources. So if you want 100 boards, you just make the instances of various boards you have and deploy those 100 boards as on demand. Regularity and audit compliance. So that is very easy now. If your boards are working and they are also kind of keeping track of the various regulatory and audit compliance, there won't be any mistakes. So there won't be any skip, because you have programmed your robots in that way to continuously monitoring the regulatory aspects and complying with the various compliances or regulations. So another important thing is business intelligence and process analytics. So your boards having a lot of capability to generate the business intelligence. Say suppose if they are picking up the customer complaint, so they can generate a lot of insights. What kind of customer complaints came to them since last 24 hours, last 48 hours, and then they can run certain analytics about that. To generate some insights and kind of give guidance to the decision makers. Security, quality, and compliances. They are also like your boards are going to be very secure. They are going to meet the various quality norms of your enterprise, and then they are going to comply with your say suppose if you need to comply with HIPAA compliances. So boards need to be programmed in that way, and once you have programmed your boards, and they are going to comply at a very high level of compliance, So that's what, a lot of advantages are there if you are migrating your processes on over the robotics process by applying the robotics process automation. Next slide is. So how the technology as well as services stacks are moving as far as the RPA is concerned. If you see today, when we are standing between 2015 to 2017, a lot of services are getting offered across the RPA. and the technology stack was only limited to 10 to 15%. So this technology stack will go up, and in next 8 to 9 years, you'll find that 35 to 45% of the market is going to be the across the technology stack. That means the ratio of services are going to get down, because the services are going to get converted into product format. So productization is going to happen across various emerging technology we have in the cognitive and artificial intelligence. So if you see going forward, around 50% will be in form of services, and 50% will be in form of product. And the hosting, right now, the services providers are hosting around 66% of the RPA instances in their servers or their cloud platform, and around 34% are getting hosted by client. So when this technologization will go up, it may happen that some of the client hosting shall be done at the client premises itself. But however, the percentage of vendor hosted RPA are always going to be high, because firms are giving this the contract into managed services model. Next slide. So what are the RPA software segments? If you see earlier, I said that, sorry, it went two slides. So earlier said that the RPA software started with a desktop version, and now it's the enterprise grade time. And the third mix is the third kind of segment is mixed grade. So you have the flexibility, either you can deploy the desktop version or you can deploy the enterprise grade version. So in desktop version, the RPA software is hosted on desktop, act as the personal virtual assistant. These are the two BPA. So virtual personal assistant, they'll help the one person sitting at the desktop to automate their data entry work. But once you have gone for the server hosted or enterprise grade RPA, so it start automating the lot of application points, application interface points, as if the bunch of human beings are running those kind of interventions. So hosted on server acts as automated FTE agents. So in mixed grade, you can deploy the desktop. It's a modular. You can deploy the desktop. Suppose if you want one model to deploy it on desktop, you can deploy the one model in desktop. If you want one model to deploy in server, you can deploy one model in the server. It's a pick and choose, and it permits both kind of models. So if you see the dominant vendors in the RPA space, Automation Anywhere as a leading vendor, followed by Blueprint, and followed by UiPath and Silicon. So some of the vendors goes for the mixed kind of adoption flexibility, like Automation Anywhere gives you the desktop version as well as the enterprise version, that is server version. The Blueprint is only in the enterprise version, that is server version. Similarly, OpenSpan is only into desktop version. So like there are many other vendors. We are not discussing all vendors here. So next slide, you will see a typical enterprise architecture for the RPA. So suppose if you are deploying RPA into enterprise, these kind of typical enterprise architecture, reference architecture need to be followed. Of course, you can further investigate on the other components of RPA architecture. This is the architecture I picked up, architecture model I picked up from one of the vendors, leading vendors. So you can see a lot of board forms are deployed, in this case. So like for HR, there is a different robot form. For IT processes, there are different robot form. For workflows, there is different form. There's for the employee onboarding, there are different robot forms. For invoice processing, there are different robot forms. So for every processes, they have created the robot forms and they have deployed under this architecture. So these architectures also offers the orchestration layer. Orchestration layer also gets integrated with the reporting engine, the business logic, development studio, the workflow designers, then various GUI and various cognitive interfaces are also exposed here. Next slide. The guidance for RPA adoption. So here are a few guidance for the RPA adoption. Evaluate RPA adoption potential into business processes. Identify low-hanging fruits, lower level processes, high volume transactions. So your low-hanging fruits always exist into lower level processes, high volume transactions, where the volume of transactions are very high. They are the fit case for migrating to the virtual agents or RPA agents. So RPA adoption to be proceeded by process standardization and optimization for giving best results. So my suggestion earlier also I gave this suggestion that you can adopt the RPA in isolation, but always follow with the process standardization or BPR kind of exercise. Optimize your processes for giving best results. RPA to be integrated with workflow enterprise application. Even in the last enterprise architecture slide, you have seen that the RPA agents or virtual agents or boards are getting integrated with workflows and other enterprise applications. Enterprise-wide RPA COE for skill development and change management. So if you are adopting the RPA for the big enterprise, you need to develop an RPA COE, and for that you need to do the skill development also. And a lot of change management efforts are required, because you need to migrate the human being to the higher roles or higher skill sets. So the human being need to be re-skilled for a higher level of work. Putting up RPA governance structure and its alignment with key stakeholders. So if you are putting up or deploying the RPA into your organization, it is very important that you give a framework into that. You give a governance structure that. So all your policies regarding the deployment, maintenance, upkeep, and migration should be ready with you. So these are some of the dominant guidance points I have to share with you. So with this, I'm just sharing a typical business case for the RPA adoption. So I picked up an FNA enterprise, in a large enterprise where FNA process being handled by 750 FTEs at present. And in these 750 FTE, they are handling the various types of FNA processes, and most of the processes are outsourced one. And then we identified that around 300 FTE can be replaced in offshore location, as well as few FTEs in on-site location with RPA agents or virtual agents or bots. So these FTEs were doing manual repetitive tasks to be easily substituted by RPA and intelligent bots. 90% of FTE assumed to be at a low cost offshore location into an outsourced environment. Per RPA agent license cost has been considered at a 5K and hosting cost at a 6K. That is USD I'm talking about. And administration cost at 2K of USD. So if you see the FTE, we replace the full-time equivalent which we replace, that is human resources, we replace 300. And 300 in a very because the offshore location, its FTE costs are minimal. So we have calculated a representative per annum FTE cost for 300 FTEs at 5160K in USD. So if you are deploying 100K, because generally what's happened, if you are installing one license of bots or virtual agent or RPA, you are going to replace 3 human being or 3 FTE. So if you are replacing 300 FTE, then you can have 100 virtual agents. So you need to purchase the licenses for 100 RPA agents. So these are apart from license cost, you need to have a hosting cost, you need to have administration cost. So all cost added, it comes towards 1345K USD. So this is the RPA deployment cost, and due to this deployment, your FTE cost is going to be replaced. So if you see, if you subtract 1345K minus 5160K, then you're getting a saving of 3815K USD per annum. So this is the huge saving. If you compare this saving with the existing FTE getting replaced, you'll find that around 70% of the replaced FTE cost being saved by the RPA replacement. And if you consider the entire FTE the strength, that is 750 FTE for the entire FNA process, then you are going to save 50% on the FTP. So 50% on your existing FTE, the saving has been done. Now, what the secondary data says, it says the same thing. The FTE reduction due to RPA is going to be around 52% to 34%. It is in between that range. And cost reduction due to RPA in the given FNE scenario percent is 42 to 26%. So these are some of the secondary data which I am showing to you. And a lot of FTE reduction can happen in offshore, that is in BP or BPO, that is your back office. So with this, we are coming to the end of presentation. So if you have any question, you can just start talking to me, or you can just ping me right now, or you can also write me in my email ID is there, sumant_parimal@innograce.com. So any question at this point of time? You can also mail me at sumant_parimal@innograce.com. So I don't think we have any question right now, though I've invited you to send your question.